Today we will study the virtue ethics and conflict of interest. Virtue ethics and conflict of interest is the last aspect of this first chapter. So you know that virtue ethics is based on virtues or good behavior, good goodness of the human characters or good traits, good attributes of human beings is called virtues or virtue based on virtues, good behavior. If ethics are there, that is called virtue ethics. Then along with that, we are going to study conflict of interest in this class. Okay, let us continue with this. Then let us see what is virtue. Already we have studied virtue theories. In the virtue theories, we have studied the meaning of virtue. Now let us recollect. The concept of virtue is the concept of something that makes its possessor good. A virtuous person is a morally good, excellent, or admirable person who acts and feels as he should. These are commonly accepted truism according to ethicists. Usually, the virtuous person he has inculcated all good attitudes in his life. They are uh, generous, honest to the fault. Because even though we are virtuous, every time in all the situation we cannot be correct. Ethics says we just have to take the decision based on wrong and rights. But maybe the virtuous person also cannot be good all the time. But those are virtuous, they accept their mistake. They are very generous and honest to the faults. Then they admit the wrong things committed by them. Then they take steps to prevent someone else's hurt feelings. Usually, all the virtuous person they may be having all good things and they follow the ethics also, which is right and wrong. Ethics says, ethics studies, which is right and wrong, and they apply values. So, what happens, even though these are all there, the virtuous person sometimes he has to do some wrong things because it saves something is more severe than the actual sufferings. Take for example, if you are standing on the road and one person passes running on the same route, he runs faster where you are standing on the same road, and behind him one thief comes and he is confused where he has gone. Then he may ask you, have you seen the person running? Then what obviously you are going to give the answer? Yes or no? If you say yes, you are going to help the thief to kill him. If you say no, you are lying. These are the two dilemmas in front of you. Which is better for you? First one is whether first one is better, telling lie, or what will do? Whether you will help him to the person, help him in finding the person, or you are going to tell the lies. Obviously, best option is you have to lie him, because if you tell the truth, the thief is going to kill the person, first person, the person who ran. If you tell him lie, then you are saving the life of the person. So telling lie is wrong according to ethics. But being virtuous, you are telling lie, it is a wrong, but you are saving the life of a person. Even though he knows that telling lie is wrong, but to save the life of the person, he lies here. That's what we can say. Always virtuous person are generous, honest, compassionate, means they know they are sympathetic and are very good manners. Usually, the virtuous person who is courageous far better than the criminal who is courageous, because the criminal who is courageous, he may do so many mistakes, he may commit so many wrong things in the society. So that's why what we can say is virtue ethics is based on good things, good attitudes, good behavior. All goodnesses are there in the virtue ethics. Okay, now let us see. Even though virtue ethics are so good, there are some criticisms. There are some criticisms for the virtue ethics that we'll study later. Now, just we'll list out the thing, virtue ethics, what it is, what it focuses. Virtue ethics focuses on character traits that are acknowledged across the cultures. All the cultures must accept it, not based on single culture. It is a culture based. There is a focus on reaching the end goal or purpose to achieve full potential. Focus is on virtues and moral character and not on duties, rules, or consequences. Virtues, moral, they are giving more importance to moral character rather than duties, rules, or consequences. These are the different theories already we have studied. The emphasis on the consequences of the actions. By your action, what will be the result? On that they focus, they emphasis, they give importance, and looks at the kind of person who is doing the action. They see who is doing that action, who is the best, and they are finding out who is responsible for all these actions. Right? These are few things observed in the virtue ethics. There are so many things can be observed. So these are few things listed in the studies we have listed. Okay. Now see, there are but no theories, you know that away from the criticism. So this theory is also criticized by many, and there are some critics enlisted here. Let us say first one is just see. The first one comes from those who expect ethics to dictate norms and guidelines of conduct and correct behavior suitable in several different situations, especially conflicting ones. You know that many people, they expect ethics must dictate the norms and guidelines, that is rules and regulations of conduct. Ethics means people, most of the people think that ethics are Ethics are dictating the norms and guidelines. They are meant for all the ethics. Most of the people think that all the ethics are meant for norms and guidelines of conduct of correct behavior. We have to behave correctly in the organization or in the society. Ethics are meant for that. They have to make the rules. They have to provide the norms, guidelines to conduct correct behavior suitable for several different situations. Different situations will be there. They must set with that situation, ethics. But these ethics and virtues, ethics are some ethics are norms, guidelines. They are like rules. They are to be followed. They are mandatory in the organization or in the society or wherever it is applicable. But these virtue ethics are conflicting ones. Aristotle Aristotle in ethics does not make available because all these virtue ethics are recommended or propounded by Aristotle. This does not make available a behavior guide. These virtue ethics are not behavior guide. How can we employ it in a practice? If virtue ethics are applied in any organization, how these can be practiced? How norms can be adopted? How guidelines can be implemented? These virtue ethics cannot be implemented, cannot be made rules, cannot be they cannot be made compulsory to be followed. Virtue people, the people who those are virtuous, only here they can face some given situation only. This cannot be adjust to all the situation. That's why these are dilemma for the organization or any society or any kind of firms. These are always conflicting. Okay, next is second one. How can we require that someone act virtuously? It would not be possible to force someone to want to be virtuous, but it would be possible to create rules to be followed. So, in the organization, when you are when you come to business organization or any society or any group activities, how we have to make the person or someone to act virtuously? How we cannot make people to act virtuously because all goodness, they're all character traits. How it is possible? It would not be possible to force someone want to be virtuous. We cannot force. You must be honest. Like that, these are the character traits. How we can force them to be honest, be generous, be faithful. How it is possible? If it is not possible, how the rules can be made? If rules are not there, what to follow? So here, answer to this question seems to be it is seems that it is not possible to make someone follow rules either or to act guided by the principles. If virtues cannot be forced to abide by, or forced to develop, then how it is possible to make someone follow rules either or to act guided by principles and values. So these virtues are one's own inclination or will. So when we come to this aspect, the theory of virtues prevails as it focuses precisely the inclination of a moral agent to act for the good. This theory is based on the good. We cannot force anybody to do this. The inclination and the understanding of one's own responsibility here it may bring advantage to the theory of virtues, but based on the grounds of ethical theories, how it is possible to expect the following of rules? It is not possible. Then individual moral agents or their motivation and leads them to act in search of what matters the most of them. So it is very difficult. Then obviously it leads to confusion. Then if you go to another criticism, it is in regards with the conflict which can be established regarding the use of different virtues in given situation. And this problem also seems to be shared by other perspectives. See that virtuous behavior means all those good ethics or good virtues what they have. This is what according to this criticism, the use of different virtues in a given situation. In a given situation, different person uses different virtues. This problem seems to be shared by other perspective. For instance, you take in principalism, principles are often conflicting, and that is precisely why the theory is based on vision of non-absolute principles. Some prima facie principles will be there. This makes principalism different even from continuities. So principles become absolute here. So in this, ethics of virtue theory is not explained based on virtues, but rather than on these are based on teleology. Teleology means based on aims. The notion of teleology is moral agents aim at specific end and use practical wisdom to perform virtue acts. Then again, it is a problem for us. In sometimes in eudaimonia, in the entire community, so it generates another criticism of worth mentioning. It would see all this if you see, it is not possible to implement virtue ethics in the organization. These are especially based on goodness, emotions, and their surroundings. All virtues are uh, the contribution of family, their surroundings, all their culture, religion, and all this. These are usually not suitable for the organization or business. So these are the some critics or challenges faced in the virtue ethics. Now let's see what is conflict of interest. Now we're actually ethics and conflict of interest. Just we'll have a just glance. Ethics already we have studied, right? Ethics are nothing but values, and the it is values and virtues. Ethics are. Then what is conflict of interest? Conflict of interest is a situation in which a person, such as a public official, an employee, or professional, or anybody, has a private or personal interest sufficient to appear to influence the objective exercise of his or her official duties. Got it? Conflict of interest means, in general, what we can say, all the even you may be a official, or it means you may be working in the office or an employee in the organization, or you may be a profession like doctor, engineer, lawyer, maybe. All are having their own personal interests. They all influence on the official duties. We all have. We'll even take lecturers are examples. We are lecturers. We all have our personal interest. These are personal interest. They influence the objectives of official duties. Official duties here means college duties. Our personal interest also affect the college duties, remember, because we all have that. So we all have our own personal goals and all this. So it affects, how it affects. Always there is a clashes. We find clashes between the personal interest and the official duties. Remember, there are three key elements in this definition. In the definition, what I said above, there are three key elements in the definition. First one is there is a private or personal interest. We know that there is a private or personal interest. Next one is the problem comes when this private interest comes into conflict with this second feature of the definition, an official duty. All are having private or personal interest. This is the first thing. Second thing, okay, if you are having private or personal interest, no problem. But when it is conflicting with the official duty, then problem comes. Okay, when there is a clash between the personal interest and the official duty, there arises a problem. It creates lots of problem. So next is conflict of interest. The conflict of interfere with the professional responsibility in a specific way. For example, interfering with the objective professional judgment. In the professional judgment also, conflict of interest. What conflict of interest is there? One side personal duty, I mean personal interest. Another side official duty. These are the two different aspects. When conflict comes between these two, personal interest and between the official duty, conflict comes, it affects the responsibility of the professional in a specific way. Definitely it affects. For example, interfering with objective professional judgment. If you want to take the professional judgment, it interferes with the professional judgment. Right? Definitely it happens. We cannot say no. Our personal interest conflict with when there conflict with the official duty, and when we have to decide about the professional judgment, then definitely it affects. So how it is affecting? Some examples we'll just list down. Some leading examples of conflict of interest are given by Canadian political scientist Ken Karangan and John Longford in their book, The Responsible Public Servant. They listed in 7 categories. Let me repeat. The leading examples, these are the leading examples of conflict of interest. 7 listed by Canadian political scientists Ken Kernaghan and John Langford in their book. The name of the book is The Responsible Public Servant. The 7 list of categories are like this. Self-dealing. Self-dealing means what? Self-dealing. Self-dealing means you work for government and use your official position to secure a contract for a private consulting company you own. You are owning your own private company, and even you are the employee also, government employee. Taking the position in, see, with the influence of the position in the government position, you are you are going to secure a contract for your private consulting company, right? You are using the government position to get a summer job for your daughter also. This is, you are using the position in one place, position. Take for example, you are IAS officer. Okay, it is possible, no? You also can become IAS officer. There is no restriction to become IAS officer. Anybody can become, those who have completed degree. You can become. Using that position as an IAS officer, you are getting seat for your daughter. Take for example, and one person getting seat for his daughter for medical course because of his position he is getting. This is self dealing. Got it? The next is accepting benefits. Bribery is one example for this. Bribe, taking bribe is not fair, not good. You are taking in the form of gift. Your gifts is also one more example. You are taking in the form of gift. For example, you are purchasing agent for your department and accepting case of liquor from a major supplier. Yes, some liquor and all this. Those who drink, it is. Or you can just it was a, in the previous government there was a big conflict, big clashes were there. Sidramaya was gifted watch by his Sidramaya was gifted watch by his friend. He took a gift like that, like this. Only just I told you the gift. I don't have any concern about this. I don't mind also. It is none of my business. Then third one is influence peddling. Influence peddling. You are influencing. Here, the professional solicits benefits in exchange for using her influence to unfairly advance the interest of a particular party. Unfairly advance the interest of a particular party. Take, for example, you want you want to go to a film, then you are using your authority, you are taking the benefit of advance it, right? Something advance, or even if you want to go to the hospital using your power, you are booking your seat well in advance, like that. Influencing peddling. Next, using your employer's property for private advantage. Using your employer's property for private advantage means you can you can use, the person is using software which is licensed to your employer for private consulting work of your own. So in this, the employer's permission eliminates the conflict. But in the uh, let me repeat, you are given a computer in the office for official purpose, but you are using for private purpose to see your email or something else, to help your wife, I mean man, your friends, and to call and to do some designs and all this is using your employees property for private advantage. Or otherwise, if you're officer in a government sector, then you, for your position, you'll be given car and a driver for official purpose only, but you are using that car for your personal purpose. So to go to the your friend's house, neighbors, I mean sorry, not neighbors, relatives house, and you are even by your the man's wife is also using to leave the children to the school college also it is used. So it is, they are using the employer's property for private advantage. This is, then using confidential information. All the organization, confidential informations are there. When you are working for a private client, See, you learn that client is planning to buy land in your region. So if you are when you are working for a private client, you are come to know that the client is buying land in that particular region, particular place. Then what you are doing is you come to know, ah yes, here is a good land. This fellow is buying. Then if you buy, the person comes to know you are cheating him. Then what you are doing is in your spouse name you are buying. If man is buying in the name of his wife, or wife may be buying in the name of husband. In the name of spouse you are buying, then it is like it's a conflict of interest, right? Next is outside employment or moonlighting. Outside employment or moonlighting, it is setting up a business on the side that it is direct competition with your employer. Already you are employer, but what kind of or what nature of business your employer or where you are working, same kind of business you are doing on the side. Here you are employer of a particular company. Take for example software company, same line of business you are opening. Then you are giving competition to your employer. Then obviously any customer comes, then you may advise. Being a employer of a sorry, being employee of a employer, you may advise that client to come to your business. It is also wrong. Take for example, so many government doctors do this. Government doctors, if you go to government hospitals, they are licensed. They are permitted to keep their own clinics and all this because it is medical is very essential service. So we lecturers are not allowed to open tutorial class and all this. But these medical practitioners, doctors, they are obviously they are allowed to have their own clinics also along with the government jobs. Okay, it is well and good because it's very essential. It's life saving. But most of the doctors, not all, most of the doctors, what they do, if you go to government doctors, they advise you come to my clinic like this. Even though they are working for the government sectors, but they are advising to come to their clinic. How far it is ethical? Is it not? Do you think it is ethical? Right? Any professional value is there. Then if you go there, they will give you their fair treatment. They welcome you with a smiling face. Say I face such a situation. One doctor, I don't want to name her here, children's specialties. She's a government employee, and she has kept in Kundapur only private clinic also. Even when my second son was small, uh, at the age of 5 years, compulsory vaccines up to 5 years compulsory vaccines are to be given. When he was at the age, at 5 years age, I had gone to government hospital to give the vaccine dose. I know that doctor. I used to go to her private clinic, but this time I had gone to government hospital to give him a dose because afternoon she does not keep open her clinic. But I wanted that time only. Then whenever I used to visit her private clinic, she used to be very friendly. She used to talk with me with a smiling face and all this. But suddenly that day I was shocked. She was so serious. She was not, her response was not, I can't say it is good, no, even very bad it was. That day I thought, what kind of dual behavior it is. In private clinic she used to ask me about me, my husband, my children, about my family and all this, so much so well she used to talk. But here it was totally different. I found dual personality in her. So this kind of behavior is not fair, right? This is there. Then post-employment is a situation. It is dicey situation. It can one can be in which a person who resigns from public or private employment and goes into business in the same area. For example, a former public servant sets up a practice lobbying the former department in which she was employed. Take again, it is we can post employment. What the person does here is he resigns the job and do the same kind of job because he was there in that particular position. He influenced so many people. He attracted so many people. He was found in the society that very good person and all this. Now what he does, he resigns for that job and he opens his own business, own this organization, and gives competition to the previous employment. This is what a post employment. It happens again in the medical field. Usually, medical field, so many you can. I belongs to you all. We all belongs to Kundapur. You can see many hospitals. The doctors, they were government doctors. They all resigned their job now. They're in Kundapur. So many big clinics are there. They were once upon a time government doctors. Now they are, because of their credibility, good name, and all this, they have opened the very big hospitals. They are earning money like anything. This is also example. Okay, with this, we'll conclude. Thank you, and all. We'll see with the uh, next chapter. I hope the first chapter come to an end here. You will be given assignment and the seminar topics very soon. How you did for the artificial intelligence first chapter, same way you have to do. Because you know that in this pandemic situation, it is very difficult to go for offline classes. How best it is possible, we'll go online. Your cooperation and your help is also very essential because we have to spread the knowledge. We don't want to stop the knowledge spreading. You are, we don't want to affect our studies by the COVID-19. So you be adjusted. Don't be resist to online classes. Go along with this. This is also beauty of the challenge, right? You have to face this, right? Thank you. Thank you, Anand.